Assalamu alaikum. Yesterday we were going through the process of uh, studies, and we finished how do we select the site which is hazardous, okay, and then we moved on to the countermeasure selection. So we must first of all draw condition diagrams and collision diagrams for the site, and then we move on to the selection of the countermeasure. Okay, and selection of the countermeasure depends upon the experience and judgment, and you need to consider the engineering and enforcement and education and emergency response aspect of the countermeasure. Okay, one point which I mentioned yesterday, that uh, it may happen that after installing a countermeasure, the problem may not be solved. Okay, because again you are using your judgment to know what is the cause of the accident, and you are again using your judgment to say that this cause can be eliminated through this countermeasure. Okay, so it's your judgment which may or may not be valid at that location. Okay, so a particular countermeasure may not work, or it may increase or it may develop some other problems at the site. Okay, so for example, an analyst, a traffic analyst, a traffic safety analyst may go for installing a signal, or he may go for installing a guardrail along the side of the road. Okay, but installing a signal may increase rear end accidents. Okay, it happens. Rear end accidents meaning somebody hitting you from the back. Okay, so with signals, it may happen that drivers because of the signal timing, the drivers are, stopping suddenly, and they are getting into rear end accidents. Okay, or installing guardrails may mean that you are reducing the speed on the road. It can happen. Guardrail acts as roadside obstruction. So increasing a roadside obstruction may decrease the speed on the road. Okay, or it may result in serious accidents if the vehicle goes on and hits a guardrail. Okay. Another example can be that you are updating the timing of a signal, which is part of a coordinated network. So if you remember in the last chapter, we have discussed for coordinated signals, the cycle length should be the same. Okay, but you are having crash problems at one of the coordinated intersections, and you change the timing for signal only at that intersection, that may result in destroying the coordination. Okay, so you need to consider these aspects as well, and this is why I said last time that even after doing the countermeasure, you have to keep on observing the sites for a longer time period, so that you can you can know that what are the effects of the countermeasure. Okay, whether it is working or not. If you are considering countermeasures related to fixed objects on the road, like I mentioned, guardrail or the signal pole itself, okay, or the sidewalk or a tree or whatever, then you can consider the following order of installing the countermeasure. What is the order here? First of all, see if you can remove the object. If you can remove the object, then it is better. Okay, so I'm telling you the order in which you should consider countermeasures related to a fixed object. So if the accidents are happening with a fixed object, then you can consider the following order. First of all, try removing the object. If it is not possible, try moving it. Okay, shift it from one place to the other. Okay, so removing it, then moving it, and if it is not possible, try to make it safe. Okay, making it safer by installing breakaway supports. What are breakaway supports? If you look at signals in Bahrain, you will find a sort of a small box around the lower part of the signal post. Around the lower part of the signal pole, you will find a small box, okay, which is around the pole. That is the breakaway support. Okay, so you will find it very easily, especially on all new signals in Bahrain. This is what they have installed. Okay, let me see if I can get a picture here. Actually, I have thought about taking the picture of support itself many times, but every time I take out my mobile, it seems that it's something like this. Okay, but now this is made up of concrete. You see, this one is made up of concrete. Okay, the one which they are installing in Signals Bahrain, around Signals in Bahrain, is it's very made up of like a guardrail material, soft steel. Okay, around the signal, it's very common. Okay, around the signal post as well as around the signs as well. So if you cannot move or remove the object, then put a breakaway support or something which can guard the vehicle from hitting the object directly. Okay, put something between them. So a breakaway support would mean that the vehicle will not, in case of a signal pole, the vehicle will not hit the pole directly, it will hit the breakaway support. Okay. If you install a guardrail, then it will hit the guardrail instead of going over the other side and hitting the object. Okay. So make it safer, put a breakaway support, and the last item is shield the object. Okay, by putting a guardrail. Okay. So two options are related to the placement of the object, two options are related to the safety of the object. Okay, so first of all, the most important option is try to remove it completely, not possible, then shift the placement, not possible, then make it safer by putting a breakaway support or by completely shielding it from the vehicle path. This is for the fixed objects. Okay, now in your book, okay, they have mentioned a list of countermeasures according to the type of crashes and according to the problem, the cause of the crashes. Okay, so for example, this table, I will show you other tables as well. This table is if you are having right angle crashes. If you are having right angle crashes, and the causal factors are one of these. So for example, the right angle crashes are happening because of sight distance problem. Then you can apply one of these countermeasures. If they are happening because of excessive speed, then you can apply one of these countermeasures, and so on. Okay, so I have one. Then you can see another table. This is for rear end accidents at signalized intersections. Okay, so this is the cause, and these are the possible countermeasures. This is for run off the road. Vehicle got out of control and the driver went off the road, and these are the factors, and sorry, these are the causes, and these are the possible countermeasures. Okay, we don't have to go through each one of them. Okay, this is for head-on crashes at 2-lane rural highway. Okay, this is for motor vehicle striking a train at a highway railroad crossing. Okay, so for example, we have a 2-lane rural highway, and in the past 3 months on this highway, we have seen 2 run-off-the-road crashes. The posted speed limit is 55 miles per hour. So they did some investigation at the site. This is something important. Okay, note down. They did the investigation at the site. Okay, they are not telling you countermeasures just on the basis of their judgment. Yes, they are using the judgment to select the countermeasure to tell you the cause, but it is supported through some investigation. So they went to the site, they collected the data, they analyzed the accident data as well, and then they are going for the countermeasure. So after investigation, they found that drivers are going at excessive speeds, and the condition in which the crashes happened, they had slippery pavement. Okay, so the speed and the speed of the drivers is, you have to go and collect the speed of the driver, maybe do a spot speed study. I think we have studied in traffic engineering course as well. The spot speed studies are very often done at accident locations, crash locations. Okay, and slippery pavement, if you go back to the collision diagram which I showed you, in that collision diagram, one of the parameters which is mentioned is the condition of the pavement. Okay, so if you draw you do a spot speed study and you draw a collision diagram, then you know these two things are happening or not. Okay, so they found the reasons according to their judgment, and now they are looking for selecting different countermeasures. So they are considering these four countermeasures. Out of these four, we have to decide which one is applicable and which one is not applicable for these causes. Okay. Now you can go to the previous table. You can look at run of the road crashes, and you can look at the causal factors. So they have these two causal factors, right? From these two causal factors, okay, they have given me some countermeasures. Okay, so you can compare. Okay, overlay of new asphalt pavement. So on the existing asphalt pavement, they are looking to overlay another layer of 1.5 inch. Is it part of the countermeasure for these crashes? Yes, it is. Okay, so overlay pavement can be done. Okay, overlaying pavement can be done. Reducing the speed limit to 45 miles per hour, is it in the list? Yes. Okay, it is in the list, reducing the speed limit for excessive speed. Okay, installing the guardrail to redirect vehicles back onto the shoulder, is it in the list here? No. Okay, so this cannot be applied, or this should not be applied. Provide adequate drainage to ensure water does not contribute to hydroplaning. What is hydroplaning? When water develops a layer of over the pavement, that is hydroplaning. Okay, so you have excessive water on the pavement, and that water itself has now, so the pavement is not only wet. Okay, we have wet pavement, and then we have water standing on the pavement. Okay, water accumulated on the pavement, that is hydroplaning. So wet pavement is a lower problem, hydroplaning is a larger problem. Okay, so water is not draining at all, it is accumulating on the pavement, that will cause hydroplaning. Okay, so adequate drainage is part of the countermeasures, is it? Yes, it is. Okay, so apart from C, the other three countermeasures are all relevant to these causes for run of the road crashes. Okay, so A, B, and D can be applied, and C may be ignored. Now I will reiterate one more point which I mentioned earlier. For example, somebody comes and says, what's the harm in putting a guardrail? Okay, although it is not part of the countermeasure, but let's just do it. Putting a guardrail means it will be safer. Okay. So I've already told you the reason. When you put a guardrail, it will actually decrease the speed of the drivers. Okay, so whatever the speed you are going for, okay, it may actually decrease the speed of the drivers. Okay, but now you see here accidents are happening at excessive speed. Okay, accidents are happening because of excessive speed or at excessive speed. So vehicles are going off the road at high speed. Okay, vehicles are getting out of control, the drivers are losing control of the vehicle at high speed. At high speed, if you install a guardrail, that would mean when the vehicle is going off the road, it will go and hit the guardrail. So now, without the guardrail, the vehicle may be just going off the road, and the driver may be able to brake after going off the road. Okay, without any damage or without any injury. Once you put the guardrail, before the driver is able to brake, the vehicle will hit the guardrail, and it may result in damage and injury. So you may increase the severity of these accidents by putting a guardrail actually. Okay, so this is one example of the point which I was mentioning at the start, that one countermeasure, it may look harmless to you, but if you look at the cause of the accidents and the behavior of the driver, it may be causing other problems. It may be actually increasing the severity of the accidents and the frequency of the accidents. So putting a guardrail should not be an option, because it's not directly addressing the causes, and it may actually increase the severity of the accidents, the crashes. Okay. One more thing which I have mentioned here, we have whenever you are looking at the countermeasures, you can look at its crash modification factors from the previous studies. What are crash modification factors? These are percentage of reduction in crashes, percentage of reduction in crashes by a particular countermeasure on similar sites. Okay, so this is what we call as crash modification factor. Okay. So we have a database of crash modification factor which is developed by FHWA, Federal Highway Administration Authority. Okay, and this database is provided as this link. Okay, the link is given in the slides. Okay, cmfclearinghouse.org. This is a database in which crash modification factors are given for different countermeasures. Okay, let me show you an example, and then we'll see how to use the crash modification factor according to the example. So we have a four-legged rural stop control intersection, four-legged two-way stop control intersection in the rural area, and it is having crash problems. The Department of Transportation is considering installing a roundabout at this intersection. Okay, and we have to look for whether it will be an effective treatment or effective countermeasure. Okay, so we will look for this. We will check the crash modification factor of installing a roundabout in a rural four-leg intersection in the CMF clearinghouse database. Okay, let me show you how to use it. So go to this link. Okay, so it will open this one. Okay, now write down the name of the countermeasure which you are looking to implement. We are looking to implement a roundabout in the rural area. Okay, so rural roundabout, and you go for search. You have other methods of searching as well. For example, you are looking for a study. You already know the study. You are looking for a citation of the study. You are looking for a crash modification. So you already know the crash modification ID. Okay, or select in all the fields. You can do it like this. But selection with the countermeasure obviously is the most important one, because we are looking for the countermeasure. Okay. It is taking time, but I've already searched it. And once you search it, it will show you this page. Okay. Now on the left hand side, you can see different filters here. Okay. So you can apply the filter according to the quality of the study. A star quality means what type of studies should be shown to you. Okay. So there are stars given: 1-star study, 2-star studies, 3-star studies, 4-star and 5-star studies. Okay. 5-star means is the most authentic study. 4 means less authentic, and so on. Okay. You can select from which countries you need the results. Okay, most of them are from US and Canada. Okay, but you can go for the international option as well. Which crash types are you looking for? Okay, if you are looking for a particular crash type, okay, for this countermeasure, what crash severity you are looking for, what roadway type you are looking for, okay, what area type you are looking for, what intersection type you are looking for, okay, intersection geometry, traffic control device, okay, and so on. Okay, so now for the time being, it is giving you all the possible results for rural roundabouts. You can see here it is part of the intersection geometry, rural roundabout, a countermeasure related to intersection geometry, and within that we are the studies are given in intersection geometry reconfiguration. Okay, the studies which this database has is related to intersection geometry reconfiguration. Okay, if you click here, it will give you further three. So it will give you under this subcategory. It will give you 3 countermeasures. First one is converting high-speed rural 3-leg intersection to roundabout, converting high-speed rural 4-leg intersection to roundabout, and converting high-speed rural intersection, any intersection, to roundabout. Okay, we are looking to convert rural 4-leg intersection to roundabout. So I will click on this option. Okay, now what is it showing? It is showing you the results of previous studies in which a rural 4-leg intersection was converted to a roundabout. Okay, so you can see here crash modification factor is given. Okay, a more you can say, a more important factor can be this one, crash reduction factor. Crash reduction factor. Okay, so crash reduction factor means how many, the percentage of crashes which were reduced in that study after installing the roundabout. Okay, so you can see 68% crashes reduced in this study, 88% reduced in this study, 74% reduced in this study, 89% reduced in this study, 41% increase. Minus means increased. Okay, if it is without minus, positive means the crash is reduced. Okay, so you can see I have how many studies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 studies. Out of 6 studies, in 5 of them the crashes reduced. Only in one of them the crashes increased with the roundabout. Okay, the types of studies. Okay, in your book they are mentioning. Let me check this one. No. So, but you can see the studies in which they are reported are of less quality. Okay, so you can decide whether you should go with their results or not. It's your opinion. In the end, it's your choice. Okay, so you are saying, okay, in these studies they have shown that the crash is reduced, but I don't believe the quality of the study is good. Okay, then you can look for any other database, but this is the most comprehensive database we have. Okay, so what type of crash is reduced? They are saying all types of crashes reduced. Okay, or these studies include all types of crashes. What types of crash severity reduced? Here all, here all, here all of them increase obviously, and here A, B, and C. So we have the Capco scale, right? Capco. So no fatal accidents were considered in this study. Okay, and no property damage was also considered. Okay, so this one again, no fatal, no property damage. No fatal, no property damage. Okay, so what type of accidents reduced are also given. If you want to look at the study yourself, the link is given here. Click on the study. It will take you to the page where the study is given. Okay, so you can look for the details of the study. See here, when it was published, where it was published, the title, and so on. Okay. Okay, you can search for the study yourself on Google and you can read the whole study. Okay, so this is how you can use the CMF clearinghouse link. Okay, so put the name of the countermeasure, that will show you all the studies which it has, and then you can decide on the basis of. So when you select the countermeasure, it will show you the categories of situations in which this countermeasure was applied, and then you select the category for which you are looking for. So we are looking for roundabout for 4-leg intersection. These are studies it has. There are 6 studies. In most of them, it is mentioned that the crashes reduced. Minimum is 68% reduction. Okay, and in most of the studies, they have mentioned that at least serious injury and minor injury and possible injury are reduced. At least in all of them, at least these 3 types are reduced. In some of them, they are saying fatal and property damage also reduced. Okay, you can compare between the studies. You can select some of the studies here and compare it with any other type of countermeasure. Okay. Okay, so this is how you use the. Okay, so this is the same screen which I showed you, and they are doing the same analysis. Okay. For some reason, they are showing more stars here. I don't know why. We were showing 2 stars. Okay. They are showing 5 stars. I don't know. So even the authors of the book are doing some, photo editing, right? Anyways, this is not the point. You can go and see the tool yourself, and you can, like I said, in the end, these are previous studies. You can select if you want to follow it or not. Okay. Now, let's say you have applied a countermeasure. After applying the countermeasure, I have mentioned it twice now, you should monitor the site, keep on monitoring the site to see if the countermeasure is working or not. Is it effective or is it causing it is having no effect, or it is causing some other problems at the site. You have to monitor the site even after the application of the countermeasure. So this is called as a before and after study, right? This is called as a before and after study. And before and after study, you have data before the treatment, before the countermeasure, and data after the treatment, and you are trying to compare between them. When you are trying to compare between these two data sets, before and after, you have to apply, you have to be careful about four issues. One issue is the difference in time. The other one is difference in volume or exposure. The other one is happening of any unexpected event, and the third one is accounting for regression to mean. Okay, difference of time, we already know the problem, right? You are comparing 1 year data with, let's say, 3 months of data. Obviously you cannot wait for 1 year or 3 or 2 years or 3 years after installing the countermeasure, because you are now you want to know the effectiveness. Okay, so you will try to compare it after a short period of time has passed. Okay, you cannot wait for years after applying the countermeasure. Okay, so this problem will happen. Okay, so difference in time, difference in volume, the volume on that side may have increased after the countermeasure because of normal growth. Traffic increases, right? Normally traffic increases, so now you have more exposure. So because of more volume, maybe more crashes are happening, or vice versa, maybe volume has decreased. Okay, and the crashes are reducing because of that. Okay, so you have to be careful about that. Some unexpected event may have happened in the before case or the after case, and this is causing the accidents to go up or down. Some unexpected event. Okay, you didn't know about it, and it is causing the event, the crashes to go up and down. For example, Eid maybe for us, so maybe crashes are happening on Eid day because of some specific behavior of the driver. Then the last one is accounting for regression to mean. What is regression to mean? Sometimes at a particular site, crashes increase a little bit from their normal value, and then they go back to the normal or routine without any cause. Okay, this is a random behavior of the real world. In real world, sometimes things happen randomly. Okay, so you may have a spike in the crashes because of no evident reason. Okay, and in that case, after some time passes, the crashes may reduce automatically. Okay, or maybe the drivers become more careful looking at the previous crashes. They become more careful, and the crashes die down to their normal value. Okay, it can happen. This is known as regression to mean, going back to the normal. Regression to mean means going back to the normal. Okay, without any evident reason. So you have a spike, okay, maybe for a few days or few weeks, and then it goes back to normal. Okay, now you can see here difference in time. So they have mentioned where you can look for these issues in the time scale. Okay, so we have the treatment is applied here, the countermeasure is applied here. This is the before data, this is after data. Okay, so you can see a spike here. Okay, now this spike can be because of issues A, B, and C. Okay, so A, B means now the volume has increased. You are looking comparing between less time with more time. Okay, some specific event happened at this site. Okay, and this is the regression to mean. This is where you can look for regression to mean. This is where you should look for regression to mean. Maybe this spike happened because of no reason. So if you did not apply the countermeasure, maybe it would have gone to the normal again. So you can see this data is above the remaining before period, right? In this period, the crashes are less. Okay, but in this period, you can see they have increased slightly. So who knows if there is a regression to mean trend here? So you have to look again for the past data. You can see in the past data, it goes up and then goes down again. So there is a regression to mean trend here. Okay, so if you are worried and you apply the countermeasure, this may become useless because the accidents may have gone back to the normal value. Okay, like it is shown in the previous trend, goes up then down, goes up and down. This is a sort of regression to mean. that you have a spike, and then there's a tendency that the accidents go back to their normal value, their lower value, without any reason. Okay, this is regression to mean. So this spike may have happened because of no reason, and if you have waited long enough, it may have died down to the normal value. Okay, so this is the period where you can see the, or where you can look for the regression to mean trend. Okay, even here you can see there's a spike and then it is going down. Okay, it is going down. Okay, now how to account? So for regression to mean, you have to look for the trend of the data in the before period. Okay, has there been any other instances where the crashes have gone up and then they have died down themselves? If there is, then you should wait. Okay, so we have for point D, you have to look for the previous trend. For how to account for difference in time and difference in volume, we have a mathematical way to do it. Multiply the after crashes with this ratio. What is this ratio? Number of months for which you have the data before and the number of months for which you have the data after. So before I have 45 months of data, after I have 15 months of data. So the number of accidents, number of collisions in the after period must be multiplied by this ratio to compare. Okay, so 45 divided by 15. So in the after period, let's say I have 3 accidents. So 3 should be multiplied by 3. Okay, in this case, 3 should be multiplied by 3. So you will compare before whatever number of accidents you have with after multiplied by 3. Okay, after multiplied by 3, if you have less number of crashes, then you can say, okay, my countermeasure may have worked. Same thing for exposure correction as well. Okay, multiply the after accidents with the ratio of before and after volume. This is the before volume, ADT before, ADT after. Take the ratio, this is the factor, multiply the collisions after with this ratio for comparing. Okay, so collisions after whatever the number is, multiply 0.938, then you can compare with the before data directly. Okay, so for time and exposure, we have the correction factors, multiply the after accident with the correction factors, and then you can compare. For the third problem, that is accidents may have increased because of any unexpected event. Any unexpected event. For that, you must collect data from other similar sites without the countermeasure. Other similar sites on which this countermeasure, which we have applied, was not applied for the same period. For the same period. So you can see here, the red line is for the similar sites on which the countermeasure was not applied. Okay. So now you can see here, although we see an increase in the crashes, okay, but on the similar sites, the red line is also increasing, right? So that means this increase in crashes after the countermeasure is not because of the countermeasure. It's maybe because of some event which increased the crashes on the same time period for all similar sites. So something happened with the driver, something with the weather maybe, okay, or something with light conditions or whatever. Okay, so something happened which affected all similar sites. Okay, so increase in number of accidents at this particular site was not because of countermeasure, it was because of some specific event. Okay, I already mentioned the regression to mean. Okay, look at the trend. Do the accidents go back to normal after some period in the past as well? If they are, then you should wait before you apply the countermeasure, or you can say that applying the countermeasure was not effective. Okay. Now, one more thing which you can do here is, find out safety performance functions. Safety performance functions. So you have similar sites. On those similar sites where countermeasure is applied, the countermeasure which you are trying to apply, which we have applied on those similar sites, the countermeasure is there. So for that countermeasure, you can calculate safety performance functions. This is an equation. You calculate that if a particular countermeasure is applied, what is the possibility that the crash will be reduced. Okay, we will not go into the details of this equation, but this is safety performance function means an equation to predict the number of accidents once the countermeasure is applied. Okay, I have an Excel file. It was given by FHWA. It is available at their website. So some of the students for my senior project, they downloaded it and then they recalibrated it for accidents in Bahrain. Okay, I will share the file with you. Okay, so if you put the data in that file about the accidents, you can actually predict the number of accidents, predict the number of crashes for different types. Okay, so when you are going for highway safety manual procedure for predicting crashes, highway safety manual is also developed by FHWA. Okay, so we are just following their recommendations. So the procedure for predicting crashes goes through this. First of all, decide which facilities and roads should be used for the prediction and for what period of time, for how much period of time. Identify other sites which are similar to these facilities and roads. Okay, and find for those sites, find out geometric condition, crash data, and AADT, traffic volume data. Geometric data, crash data, and AADT for these sites. Okay, apply the appropriate SPF safety performance function. So some of them are already given. If you go to the book, you will find some of these equations are already given. Apply any crash modification factor, okay, and a calibration factor. Okay, I will show you in the Excel file there. And if you know any site or project specific, this is known as empirical Bayes method. Empirical Bayes method. Okay, empirical Bayes is a method by which you find out the normal number of crashes for a particular type of site, for a particular type of location. Okay, again, we will not go in the details of this. Okay, so if this is like another sort of a calibration factor. Okay, so there's a calibration factor within the prediction equation, and then there is a calibration factor if you have data from other similar sites for the past. Okay, so you apply these two calibration factors and then you repeat the process for all the sites and for different years and so on. Okay, so let me show you the Excel file. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, so this is the Excel file. Okay, and for example, you come here. So this is the data you have to put. Okay, for example, length of the segment, ADT, on-street parking, curb length for on-street parking, median width, lighting present or not, speed enforcement. So speed enforcement is like a countermeasure, right? Speed enforcement is like a countermeasure. Commercial driveways, okay, industrial driveways, residential driveways, speed category. Okay, so the explanation for these things is given here in the instructions. The explanation is given. Okay, calibration factor which I was talking about. Okay, so this Excel file, you put the things and it will give you the number of crashes. And this is for intersections then. You can put the same things for intersections as well. Okay, the number of crashes are, this is for the segments, predicted number of crashes. Okay, the number of crashes will be predicted in this in these tables here. Okay, so this is the predicted number of crashes. Okay, so with each when you put the data here, it will predict the number of crashes in the table at the bottom here. Okay, and this is like a comparison for different segments. This is for each intersection. Again, you put the data and you will get the prediction over here. Okay, so this is the predicted number of crashes. So this sheet is available, okay, online. Okay, HSM prediction. If you go to HSM website, Highway Safety Manual website, you can find this sheet. Obviously, this is not calibrated. The sheet on the website is not calibrated. Like I said, those students, the senior design students, they calibrated the sheet for variant conditions as well. But again, it was student work, nothing authentic. So if you go for the sheet itself, the HSM sheet itself, it will be more beneficial. Okay, Ali Akil, Ali Salah, Iman Kamil. Yeah, Ibrahim, thank you. So you can see Ibrahim here has uploaded an image of the breakaway support. Thank you. Ibrahim is a good guy. He's always trying to help me. Okay, Iman Kamil is here. Okay, Ali Akil, Ali Salah, Asma Khalil. Zahra Sayyid, Nujur Salah, Dana Nasir. Nadine Hussam, Noor Yusuf, Dana Isa. Zainab, Dana Isa, Noor Yusuf. Reem, okay. Zainab, okay. Asil Adnan, Nadir Abdul Munim, Latifa Ahmad. Nadir, okay. Asil and Latifa. Salma Jafar, Qasim Tahir, Badr Ghassan, Mohammad Akbar. Okay. Salma, Badr, Mohammad Akbar. Ahmad Amin, Ibrahim is here, okay. Ahmad Amin, okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Eid Mubarak in advance. Okay, see you after the Eid, inshallah. Have a happy Eid and a blessed end of Ramadan as well. Assalamu alaikum.